This is the Levels Network. I'm Justin Horo, joined by the Triple OG, Willie Mason, and the dogs are back. Oh, puppy power at Belmore. Trials were back on the weekend, mate. It's good to actually have some footy back. Just to let everyone know, we've got the YouTube questions as per. I'm going to run over 5 of the games. I seen the Bulldog Storm trial. I seen the Indigenous games, obviously. I caught all the Saturday games, but I missed...
Super duper Saturday it was.
Super duper. There's a lot of footy.
Got me.
There's a lot of footy on Saturday. And then there were a couple of games on Sunday as well, mate. I'll get you to just run me through the Tigers and Warriors game in Christchurch. I seen the KO mini of it, so I sort of seen all the main the tries and the send off in particular. But we've also got some really good questions in here as well. But apart from that, how was your weekend, mate? How was your break?
Very cruisy. I was saying to you before, like I had an infection on my elbow last week, so I didn't really do much. I didn't train. I couldn't get after it, so I was just laying at home. I had a few things, obviously some obligations with the podcast. And then this time last week, we're on that boat. I don't think that helped it that much.
Yeah.
But sort of come good to on the weekend. So I just stayed at home for the family and just watched a heap of footy. Got my footy fix in proper.
Yeah.
Yeah, like watched about 80% of the games, right?
Yeah.
I just sort of died off. Super Saturday got me. The last game, like South, and I got to the South and St. George's Charity Shield. And I got to half time. So this is a tough carry. I messaged you on the group, so this is a tough carry, boys.
Who do you reckon's got the tougher carry? Us going through this for podcast purposes or being a Dragons fan?
I thought that I spoke to Ogre yesterday.
Yeah.
And he goes, it's something about St. George. I said, no, they went good. Like, watch the first half.
Yeah.
And he didn't watch the whole game, right? And I said, so don't just watch. He would have watched the mini or something like that or the highlights. I said, no. Watch the first half.
Yep.
If you're a St. George supporter, you're like, fuck, these guys are going after it. They're all right.
Good, because I've got some points about that as well. I was thinking the same.
But I'm only going off the halves, about 50 or 60 minutes, and then I just wrap it in trials because then they chuck all the young kids on, and then you don't even worry about it.
Yeah, there was some kids to watch out for sure, but for the majority, they're not going to play big parts.
No.
Like, even if you are excited about some 19, 20-year-old kid, specifically in the Canberra and Parramatta game, I was excited about a few kids, but you could still see there is indeed levels to this shit.
Well, you always look at, like, just say a lot of Bulldog supporters that I'm friends with, like, straight on the chat, we're back. Yeah, we're going to win the comp. I said, boys, just chill.
Yeah.
Give it to round 8.
Yeah.
Give it to round 8 to 10. Then we can just sort of go, nah, fuck it. We're going home. We celebrate 7s, 9s, whatever it is. Yeah, God love them because they're just waiting for hope, right? This club.
Yep.
And the young fellas, they gave them some hope.
Well, it's
good. It's just good for the club. And I saw a lot of comments like on our chat, and I'm like, dude, you're not missing. You're missing the bigger picture here. Like, there's a bunch of young kids coming through the system at the Bulldogs that are Bulldogs juniors.
Yeah,
they've got to play at Belmore and win a game.
Get a dub against the Storm.
Against the Storm.
Good
like, do you
culture.
understand how big that is? This might be some of these guys' biggest career, like the biggest achievements.
Some don't play first grade properly, so this is a great achievement for a lot of people.
So, just to have that built into them already now, winning a game at Belmore against Storm, young kids, 18, 19, bit of a crowd.
Yeah.
That's what builds stuff. You want to play for the club.
I could tell, like, even with you texting how proud you were of them, just because how much I know it means to you.
We've watched these young kids come through the grades the last 2 or 3 years, and it's good to see them get a reward. I don't care about the result or anything like that, but it was good that they got a result, set up a few tries at the end, so it was good.
No, specifically you mentioned Belmore. I could tell that means a lot to you, like going through the grades.
A lot of these guys. So we never got a chance.
People might not understand what that's like.
So understand when I come through the grades in 98 and 99, they already signed a deal with Homebush, right? So Belmore was a sacred ground since like maybe the 40s or 50s. Don't quote me on that, but so we all looked at Belmore as like the sacred sort of ground for a Bulldogs player. We never got to play at that ground, all right? So from 2000 2008, I was at
Showground?
At the Showground and at Homebush. Like, we were averaging like 30,000, 36,000 a year for a couple of those years at Homebush. Imagine filling that at a Bank West.
Yeah.
Like, we've been unstoppable at Belmore, man. Yeah. Unstoppable. And then I think they went back to Belmore in the 2010s.
Yep.
I wasn't at the club.
Yeah.
So you got to watch these other people get that, and it pissed us off. Like, our era, like, fuck, because
cool
we just imagine like just playing at Belmore, because I only got to play at Belmore in Jersey Flag.
Yeah,
that's it. Never
Thomas Flegler.
the Jersey Flegler. But Yeah, that was it. And then just watching them come through the grades and getting that experience at Belmore. I didn't get it.
Yeah.
So I love that they got to do that.
Yeah, and also like me and you, we've got a lot of respect for people that have been for us, but like I'm the same with you. I love the traditional, the culture around playing it.
Yeah.
Even though I didn't have that much success, even in New South Wales Cup coming through, like I loved playing at Leichhardt. I loved playing at Brookie before I'd become a Manly player. Some of those suburban grounds that.
What about when at Parra when you were coming through the system?
Yeah, Parramatta.
Like Parramatta Stadium versus the Bulldogs back in the day was the shit.
Yeah, it was
best. Playing there on a Sunday, it was madness. I used to love it. It was packed house.
Yeah,
they're the games that I miss. The Sunday games at Parra Oval against against Parramatta. Bulldogs 2002, 3, 4, 5, 6. It was some real heavy games there, man. But it's just the tradition of it. Leichhardt, got to play at Brookie as a Manly fan. Newcastle, all those grounds, man. It's a special. It's special because I think we get really nostalgic as ex-players because we were young kids. Like me as a young kid, going into Marathon Stadium, it was called, like watching the Knights play. Like I was like, fuck, this is the shit. And then I was that dude. Like I lived those dreams that like I wanted to live. You know, that's why I can always look at it as a younger kid's perspective.
Yeah,
even though I'm 43, they don't think that. They just think you're just an old dude that you're just here.
Fucking OG, triple OG. Speaking of OG, speaking of dogs, I got after it this morning.
Yeah, nice.
Me and NEDD BROCKMANN.
Tell the people what you're doing. You're doing a triathlon.
Oh yeah, so I've got a triathlon coming up this weekend.
Always got something on. People.
I always like
goals.
having little challenges. Me and you are big on this, mate. So we like to. I think in particular when we're starting this together a year ago, it's probably the most consistent I've ever been post footy for sure. And I always like little challenges, and no better than the great and powerful NEDD BROCKMANN, pounding the pavement with him. So I did a podcast last week with the boys. So I don't know if you would have seen this. Kempy and Guru and Supercoach, they did a podcast preview for like 7 hours and 40 minutes. Or something.
I know how you do it, boys.
Shout out to the boys.
Like a long time.
So the Hello Sports took the mickey out of them and just wanted to break it by like 10 minutes.
Break it?
They did it. But
it's very petty, but I love it.
It's so good. So, but in saying that, they did get, so Kempy's still a part of it no matter what, because he did the first hour. NEDD BROCKMANN did the second hour. And I come in for a couple of hours after that. And we sort of crossed paths with NEDD. And I've met NEDD before at an event that the boys did at Hello Sports. But I was like, fuck, I'd love to have a trot with you, you know? Like, I sort of told him about my journey and how I'm doing a little bit more running. We've got we've been doing the run club in the off season. And he just goes, he goes, had a few texts back and forth last week. Monday morning, 5 a.m, let's go.
Yeah, nice.
So
5 a.m. you got you this morning.
5 a.m.
Nice.
Yeah. We got after it, and I broke my PB by roughly 2.5 minutes.
Do you think it's because he's there and you want to?
It was 100%.
Yeah.
So he couldn't run 10K in his sleep, right? 10K is kiddies to him, but generally he does it like it's like his he does it at pretty much every day, 10 kilometers, and he's generally around like 43 minutes, 43, 44, and that's just him cruising on a normal day.
For 10K?
My best is 49 minutes, right? So 49, and I was like, oh, I'm going to be running with him. There's no way, like, I can't be at that pace. So I've had a bit of nerves. I had a bit of anxiety last night before I was going to bed, getting ready for it. I got 46.54.
That's mad.
I beat my personal best by 2.5 minutes, about 2.5 minutes.
How long? How far is 2.5 minutes, you reckon? At that pace?
At that pace, well...
300 metres?
Nah, more than that. Probably 600.
That's massive then.
So 4 hours and 40 minutes per kilometre.
Right.
That's what we're doing.
That's solid.
That's the pace. And it was mad. He was talking me through the whole way. We had good chat for the first 5K, and then I hit the wall. Yeah. I hit the wall hard. Like we're going at this pace because generally, like I could do 5K at that pace and be done, but I've never been able to maintain that past it. So he understood that I started to struggle, and then he just went into full fucking motivational mode. Like, come on, big dog.
Mad.
Yeah, it was sick. You would love it.
That's mad.
He's going, big dog, you're traveling. You fucking, let's go. You know, kept on ticking over. And I was just giving him one-word answers after a while. But we had a good chat going for about 5. And then he goes, I'm going to hit some music for us. And I went, fucking hit the music. So he's cranking. We're running through Centennial Park. Yeah. Pitch black, can't see anything. Hardly anyone there. And we've just got this music pumping. Ned's got me going. And And he could hear like my breathing started to get really heavy, and he straight away at the 6K mark he goes, look, here's the target, we've got a hill coming up, let's pull it back, get some rhythm, and let's have a crack to finish off. So he got me through like a kilometre, and I was like 8 kilometres, I fucking wanted to stop so bad. But when you run with a guy like
good,
Ned,
but man,
yeah, he goes,
that's good for you, bro. That's
it was
mad.
sick. It was sick, and he goes, let's go now. And we finish off the last couple of K and got the PB. And
Eddie Brockman.
I didn't look at my watch too, like within the last couple of K, because I didn't want to sort of just wig myself out. But I knew I was on. You know when you're
had
traveling,
to be. You're like,
you know
I have
when
to be.
Yeah, like I'm running next to Ned. His pay, like he looks like he's in a good rhythm, and like if I'm keeping up with it, I'm doing all right. But I didn't want to wig myself out. So shout out to the GOAT. He's such a good dude, man. He's got some big things coming up too, so I'm excited to see what that is for him. He's got that on. He'll be keeping that under wraps to let everyone know. And shout out to Ned's Milk as well. In saying that, the Run Club, it's just going to be too hard throughout the season. So it was good. It was good for us to do that during the off season. A really great way of connecting with our fans. Super proud of a lot of people that turned up and ran with us on Sundays. But I told the group this will be our last one.
What do you think?
It's just too hard, mate. Like we've got too many games of footy. Specifically, when I didn't realise until I was watching the game on Thursday night how
draining.
No, I've got to flip my body clock again.
Yeah.
You know, because we've been waking up, we've been training early. Like I did the run with Ned this morning at 5. But generally, like I'm up about 6 o'clock. We go and train at the E-Lab sometimes, or I do a strong dad with Braith or these different little sessions. I'm in bed by 8 o'clock normally. So when the footy was on,
you were dead. I'm like, the Charity Shield's just starting. You're like, I'm fucked.
I went to bed at halftime of the Indigenous game.
Right.
Had to get up, watch it early in the morning, the second half. So I put my phone on because I could see your messages coming through for you, like still updating us on the game. So I put it on airplane mode, so I couldn't read any of the messages, and I got up, watched the second half before I had to go do the Moles Club with Missile on Saturday morning.
Right. Yeah.
So I had to be across it before I got to the game.
You have to, man.
So I need to
balance, my friend.
I need
balance
to
it out.
balance. I need a little bit more sleep in the morning. So I'm gonna put it on the back burner. I'll do a run.
Do it once a month or something like that.
Something like that.
That's just you know, we can just put it on here. We tell people when to get after it and all that kind of stuff.
For sure.
We're getting after it all the time. Even though I was training this morning, I feel someone said, when do you do the podcast? Like lunchtime, 2 o'clock, 3. I'm like, 8 in the morning. Like, hey, you like that 8 in the morning? I said, bro, both of us are fucking pumped. We get up, we train, we're fucking after it. By the time we get here, it's woo.
This is the best time for us.
Fucking know.
Whenever we're done afternoons, if you've watched some of it, if you've watched our content in the past and you've thought we're on a downer, that's because we're filming it at 5 p.m.
And we are.
And we're tired as fuck. But I'm in a good mood. You know why? It's because we just had a lick of this too before my run. We've got the BSC energy drinks. The ultimate solution of boosting focus and mental performance. I'm telling you, it got me through the first 5K. So I was pumped.
I'm out. I need more.
Smash it. Have a crack. And we're actually so you need some more as well. I've messaged the gang. Yeah, same. Well, I've used them all. I'm done. BSC sent us about 3 cases each, and we've pumped them over the last couple of weeks because we genuinely believe in them, and we've been using them. Damn. Our little mate Lukey getting ready for his fight.
Me pouring that down his gob after
on
round
April
1.
27th at Gold Coast Convention Centre has been pumping him as well. He's requested him as well. So shout out to the team. Obviously, Greg, Pico, Taj is going to send us out a couple more cases because
Chloe,
honestly, mate,
machines.
like we talk about it. It's because we believe in the product and it's a great product and it gets us going and we're able to achieve, whatever it may be, whether it's just getting ready for the podcast early in the morning, giving us that focus.
E-Lab.
It's an E-Lab session. It's a spa session for Lukey getting ready for his boxing, or it's running 10 of the best with the great and powerful Ned Brockman.
That's fucking solid, man.
Don't
call me out, Ned. I will not run 10K.
Yeah. No. Ned's a busy man, and for him to take his time out of his schedule to run 10 with me when, realistically, he's got some big things coming up, and that's like he has to slow down to be with me. So I really appreciate it. Staying on appreciation, our YouTube subscribers, 21K. There we go, mate.
Yes.
Boom. Finally got off that 20K mark. So thank you to everyone that subscribed. It really helps the show. So make sure you continue to do that. And that means continuing to follow us on Instagram, 29.2. I said we'll get to 30K before Vegas. We've got 2 weeks. Let's fucking go for both of them. 52K on TikTok. And make sure you subscribe on Apple and Spotify. All right, mate, you ready to go? Get in the show? Got some good YouTube questions here. All right, my question is around systems and culture. I'm a Para fan, and for many years now, no matter who is appointed at board level, made head coach, or players recruited, Para always have the same consistency issues and stigma regardless of where they finish on the ladder. So he's obviously alluding to last year, the year before, finishing in the grand final with a loss against Panthers and not making the 8. He also alluded it was such a big test. Shout out to Seabass. There were so many layers to it, but I just thought that was important. And he talked about the Melbourne culture, them losing Kenny Bromwich, Jesse Bromwich, Felice Kafusi, and Brendan Smith, and still making a preliminary final.
800 games.
I guess when you look at the quality of player that Parramatta also lost, Murata Nikora, Isaiah Papali'i, and a couple more.
They're nowhere near the guys that they lost in Melbourne.
It's a great point. And it just shows, I think, in my opinion, what do you think? Like, because I've got Brad Arthur's win percentage record here, right? So I went and had a look, and I was like, you know, like he's talked about coaches in the past. I think Brad's done a great job. He's 52% in the regular season. Ivan Cleary and Des Hasler are at 56%, and Brad's been around for a minute now. This is year 10. Yeah. Like, he's the most capped Parramatta coach of all time. So 52% is a great achievement. Where he differs from all the other coaches that we mentioned about 2 or 3 weeks ago, only 33% in playoffs. Yeah. So I guess that's where the next step is for Parramatta, and in particular Brad Arthur, and taking this culture that they've got at Parramatta and taking it to the next level, and probably being a little bit more consistent. Do you think, Lace?
It's a hard question. I mean, like, you can't. It's a good comparison because they did lose some
similar
key,
4 to 5 key players, right? Yep.
And the results were prelim and not even making the 8. I know a couple of little things fell off for Parramatta during the year, but like things like that happen in all good clubs.
For sure.
It's just how you deal with them. I'm not sure how they deal with all that kind of stuff at Parramatta. You know, if they go through a big loss of players, a big turn of players, do they traditionally just fall off the blocks? Few injuries and everything like that. Do they have the leadership in the right places? I'm not sure. I think they lost Isaiah Papali'i. He was a big loss.
For sure.
Nikora was a big loss, but they're nothing like a Bromwich and a Kafusi and the other Bromwich and a Brandon Smith.
Reid Marnie as well.
And Reid Marnie. I think Reid Marnie was a big loss as well, because you got to replace your 9 with the Brendan Hands, and they had some other players as well. They brought the young kid Lussick back.
Joey Lussick come back.
Yeah, from England. So they just found some gelling problems. It's not a culture thing. And it's not a system thing.
I think in the past it definitely
was. It's a performance thing.
I think definitely in the past before Brad, it took Brad a long time to get rid of the in-house fighting that exists at few clubs now, and even existed at the Bulldogs before.
I think it's gone. I think it's gone. So I think it was a matter of last year, not a culture thing, not a system thing. It's a performance thing. It's a performance-based system that we're in, right? And I don't think he just got. The best players were missing big chunk plays. It wasn't 1 or 2 weeks. Big reg chunk plays. Moses in and he had some time off. Brown, like, it was just they couldn't really find that the role that they went on. They found a little bit by the end of the year, and then another injury. So I don't know. It's just they didn't perform last year. I'm not looking at it as a culture thing anymore, because I think it's BA's culture. So if it's anyone's problem, it's you're going to go with the coach.
Yeah,
and I'm like, the players need to have some accountability, man. I know how much work coaches put in, and it's like they're giving you the playbook. You need to perform now. I'm pretty sure Parramatta's culture and everything around the place that they got, the training environment, everybody around them, everything's tailored to the players for a great performance. Well, it's up to the players.
Like, looking at our priority positions too. In like the reason I sort of think Parra are going to have a bounce back season this year as well. Brad's had a really good. He's been really good at the pass in not unearthing a few players, but some players were tapping into the potential. Like, we looked on the weekend, I thought Kelma Tuolangi was unbelievable for him, and he was a guy I was excited for about at Manly. Yeah. But our priority positions, we looked at in probably 5 or 6 weeks ago. Fullback Clint Gutherson. Yeah. I like Gutho. He's I guess they're probably looking for more of an X factor, and Gutho's versatile enough to play multiple positions. But I think if you've got Gutho, you're very happy. Dylan Brown, arguably top 3-6. Mitch Bozers, arguably top 3 probably halfback, maybe top
Easy
3.
top 5.
Easy top 5. And their front row is as good as any front row. They just probably need someone to really step up. And you looked at a guy like Widemu Greg last year. I thought he was really travelling until he got injured at the back end of the season. But just to take that next step. But they've definitely got everything in place.
Everything
in
in
key
place.
positions.
Sean Lane's back.
Jermaine Hopgood was outstanding in the Indigenous game.
I think they've got all the right pieces to make a proper run for it. Because once, like Gutho's peak and Moses' peak is over in 2 or 3 years, they're done. They'll have to rebuild again. They've got that core, those core pieces already there and in their peak right now.
Yep.
Big Reg, Junior Paul, they're rep players. Moses, Dylan Brown, Gutho. They're all top 5 in their position.
Yep.
Right now, they've got all the pieces around. Like the outside backs are big and strong and fast. They don't have a real... Like Penasini's a good young kid, but they don't have that real strike right centre or left centre.
That's why they keep bringing up that X-Factor work.
Yeah, and I'm like, you can still get the job done. You don't need a fucking prime Mark Gasnier or something like that or a Greg Inglis to get you over the line. You've got everything else.
Yes.
Just fucking get the job done.
Yeah, I'm with you.
They've got all the pieces. And even Hands and Lussick now. They said you're going to pick one little hooker.
Yeah, I liked Hands. He played a role.
I don't mind Hands.
Yeah.
I didn't see much of him last year because he was in and out. I think he might get the run.
I think defensively they like Lussick better, but offensively, definitely Hands.
Yeah,
he had so much more out of.
You know how BA likes his hookers, right? Just off the ground.
Yeah,
off the ground. That's what Reed Marnie offers a lot with the ball. But he just likes that delivery, wide ball to Moses, 20, 30 fucking meter laser. Hit Junior
darts.
Paulo at B and C, foreman. So they're already on him straight away. They cut the middles out pretty much.
Yeah. To your question though, Seabass,
not a culture thing. I don't think not a system thing. Performance.
Yes,
it needs to be performance based now.
I think they had a down year last year. I think they'll be okay again this year. I've got them as a candidate for a bounce back. I had them slightly outside of the 8, but I wouldn't be surprised if they get inside the 8 and with those key positions. And I think Brad's done a good job, specifically in the last 4 or 5 years. They've been pretty consistent. They had a bad year last year, but I really do think they'll bounce back. All right, this next question, mate. This is from Shire Smokers Barbecue. Hey, fellas, read Body Shapes. We seem to be in a period where middles, front rowers seem to have a pretty high value, maybe not as much as, say, halves. Through the early 2000s and 2010s, the wingers were really tall, like 6'3". Do you think that we are going to see these guys who would generally be cultivated into wingers or outside backs be pushed getting into the middle with the increased speed of the game? Is anything happening in the lower grades? This is obviously specifically to you, mates, when you go out and help and mentor the younger kids like this. There seems to be big value placed upon big fellas who can move just like Mace did once upon a time ago, specifically Adam Fanor Blakes, the Payne Haas's of the world. So, Mace, 2-part question. Is this happening in lower grades? Can you see more of these bodies, specifically in the front row? And do you think that's what's going to happen? Whereas a guy who might have been playing maybe in the outside backs, moving in a little bit closer, and then like a dominoes effect.
Yeah, I can see like the evolution of the game is changing. I think if you go back to the wingers in the early 2000s, remember Matt Utai sort of changed the game, little stocky sort of bloke, but they were around for a little bit. He just had that real X factor. He scored some really great tries.
Did one question just quickly on that? Did Hazem and Matty get targeted heaps?
Yeah,
just being smaller wingers.
Then the Israel Folau system come in, and they started jumping over. Remember, Matty Singh scored 3 tries in a prelim against Utai. And that sort of changed. Everyone's like, oh, we've got this aerial assault. So everyone started getting long-rangey wingers, but you needed the running power of a Matt Utai and then like the catching power of an Israel Folau. So it's hard to get that, right? Brian Toto is that dude now.
Fuck it.
There's the evolution. Brian Toto is Matt Utai plus fucking Israel Folau.
Can still jump, eh?
Can still jump out of the box. What do you reckon that is?
Like when you think about Toto and Taruva, they're the first ones that come to mind when I'm like no one ever exposes Penrith. They're so good in the air. So what's the difference between a Toto and a Matty Utai?
Well, the evolution was they had to jump for the ball, right? Because the wingers there was still the Tupos and all that running around. Remember, fucking Tup's been around for a minute. So he was still jumping over everyone's head, but they just catch all the time now. Catch the running, the tech. You don't have to be like 6'4" anymore to be a winger. You should be able to be good under the ball, right?
Yeah, you're right. So they just trained him up. So rather than
you train him up
in probably 2000s when just say Matty got exposed or a smaller winger would get exposed, I reckon coaches probably in the past would have been like, fuck it, get rid of him. We need a bigger winger. Now they're going, all right, A guy like Matty Utai can give us fucking 200 metres.
We need his play
yardage.
twos.
We need those play twos rather than just pushing them to the side like what could happen to Toto. Let's train him up and get his kick catch right.
That's what happened. That's what they said. That just train these young kids up because of the play twos and threes are so important now. You still need that body type coming out of yardage. All you do is need to train him up in the kick catching department. He can still jump out of the fucking roof. You don't have to be 6'4". You can be fucking 5'9", 5'10", and still get after it like that. It's all timing and everything. Like these guys are great under the ball,
mate. I'm thinking about Toto. I can't stop thinking about Toto and Taruva now. One thing that they do really well on kick defense, when teams are attacking their line, they really go to the contest. Like they feel like they might. Their timing is so good, but it's like before the attacker can get to them. So they jump up and get some contact and then able to keep their body nice and solid and still come down.
It's a whole session, kick catching, right? Yeah. Everybody has a job from the winger to the centre to the three-man running people off the ball. The centre's got to come across and block him, give him a free run to the ball. Like it's very methodical. Don't just think he just runs to the ball, people at home, and just catches it. Watch everybody off the ball. Everyone's got a job all the way from the guy putting kick pressure on to the middles running back, trying to run people off so you get one-on-one with the ball. Even just so that guy's screaming for the ball there, you just have to turn your back. You're fucked. You know, he's already jump up and get the ball. Like, it's so methodical. They just make it look easy, all the guys that can kick catch. They just make it look easy. Of course, it helps if you're 6'4". Like, Israel Folau was the best prototype for that. Greg Inglis. You know, like they were just like Matty King and that. They were coming through, but they were just so good on the timing because Cooper Cronk would put it on a dime.
What's your ideal winger then? Like just say, for instance, if you could pick in the modern game, you look at a guy like Greg Marzou, who's probably a little bit taller, a bit thicker. Anything inside 10 metres, he's finishing try. Yeah. Like Brian Toto's really good at it. He's probably a little bit smaller in stature. He might be probably 5'11", 5'10", Rennie Matua 5'10". But you know, he's obviously lighter and can defensively he can move a lot more. Or you've got fucking Dom Youngs.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go for the Toto.
Yeah,
he's like your perfect build because he's not like Marju. You know what I mean? Like Marju's a little bit more thicker.
Yep,
he's
thicker, a little bit taller.
Yeah,
thicker.
I think is Toto taller?
Nah, I reckon Marzu would be slightly taller than. Only slightly, but I reckon just that thickness doesn't allow him to be. Yeah.
And Toto's very agile and he can jump and he can jump out of the fucking room. That's the thing. You got to be able to jump. The timing when he gets up, he's up there with him.
Suaalii.
I love because he's so strong and aggressive. His play twos are so he never gets ragdolled or anything like that. He loves contact and he's brilliant in the air.
And long arms to knock
very
down,
long
tap downs for those quick tip ons.
And Toto's long as well. Like if people his dimensions, he's your perfect winger.
Toto stays so low and just double D's that it spooks the centers as well. So they don't end up passing because they think, all right, he's sitting, he's going to bounce and go, and then he'd still be able to go.
Yeah. But then I'm thinking about like your play twos as well. I'm not thinking just the aerial assault. I'm just thinking like, what is he like when he's coming out of the backfield? Because you can get in front of Suaalii and put one on him, even though it's fucking hard. I'm not saying do it because he might knock you out. But if you're a big dude, you're not really worried about getting in front, putting your hips in, getting underhooks and trying to not trying to hit him, just manage him up and then get
someone
levers.
Else get him behind.
Yeah. So like, but now with that third man in, when you're dragging him up with the leg, you can't do it anymore. So you got to actually try and hit him.
Yep. All right, this one is another shout out. So obviously,
did we even talk about the evolution of the sort of body parts? Was he talking about?
Oh yeah, let's get back to
anyway.
The middle.
So just say so I was talking about the evolution of wingers. So just say when I was coming through the system, I was playing fullback, wing, centre, and then went to the back row when I was 16, and then from then on. Then front row when I was like in the late 20s. But I was in the back, so I was always doing speed work. So I was always quite mobile, like for a bigger guy. That's why I maintained speed and everything like that. And younger kids now, you just got to have a look, watch where they're growing. When they're 16, if they're 6'3" or 4, quite lean, big, fast, whatever, their evolution is going to be into the back row.
Yeah.
By the time they're 17, 18. And then if they get bigger, like they're going to be in the front row. What's right now? Ask Tino on what positions they were playing when they were younger. I bet they weren't playing front row.
Yeah.
He would have been back row, would have been the centres when he was 14, 15 because he would have had good skills. Same as Payne Haas. And you just the bigger you get, the recruits go, you're gonna end up there anyway. But you just need to get all your fundamental skill set, fitness, all that kind of stuff right. then you're 17, 18, then you're looking at that. That's what we're looking at back rowers now.
That's why they're so skilled now, these front
Yeah,
rowers, because
they're highly skilled.
Back row sort of ball playing as well. Some of them might have played centres. So they've got nice soft hands, being able to tip on. Yeah. That's
what you're looking at. If I was looking at a young kid who was 15, 16, he was lean, he wasn't fully matured yet. You see some young kids with beards and shit like you've already hit your peak when you're 15. If you got a beard when you're 15, like you better be 6'4".
Yeah.
You know, but you look for a young kids who's like probably 6'3", 6'4", very like just like a little baby sort of thing, but long limbs, everything like that. And then you can train them into it. Yeah. And then they've got speed, then they've got skills, and then like you just need to harness that and just put everything into them, like just good habits and everything, fundamentals, fitness.
That's good.
And then hopefully they come into the grade like 17, 18, back row, rangy, and then.
Are you excited? Do you think it's more exciting for a player? Because I reckon if you'd told a player maybe in the 2000s, before you're an outlier, like you were so versatile, play multiple positions, but maybe back rowers or centres wouldn't have been keen to go in. You know what I mean? Like big body, you think about some of the big centres like Mel and like even guys like GI playing out in the centres. It wouldn't excite players. Hey, by the way, we're going to move you into the back row. Bo Scott, centre to back row. But now with the emphasis and the money that forwards get, in particular props, like if you're an elite front rower, and if I'm a big back rower who's playing 80 minutes, fuck, I'm probably more incentivized to go get me in the middle. It's an extra 250 grand potentially per year if you become an elite front rower. Yeah,
and you just got to watch where they're going. If they've got that extra speed, whether you just stay in the centres, man. You know what I mean? If they've got Greg Inglis speed and Israel Folau and Mark Gasnier and like Willie Tonga's sort of speed and agility, you're like, you're not moving anywhere but outside backs. But if you're slowing up by the time you're 17, 18, you're just progressively just going to go into the back row. Otherwise, the game will get rid of you. You'll be gone because if you don't make all the moves, all the proper moves to get into the back row or the forwards, or you make it too late because you still think you're a centre because you want to score tries, too late.
Too late. There we go. We finally got to it in the end. We started on wingers, but we got to the middle. Here's another little shout out. Hey lads, just wanted to reach out from London, where our team, the Hammersmith Hill Hoist, have made it to the round 4 of the Challenge Cup. We're an amateur team and we play Halifax in a few weeks. I was supposed to announce this last week, by the way, so I think they're playing this weekend. We are the first team from the Southern Conference to make it to round 4. We are a team founded by Aussie expats in 2008. Be awesome if you could give the team a shout out and spread the word. If anyone moving to London wants a game and meet some good blokes, we're the team. So this is the beauty of the Challenge Cup, like we're talking about. Got a few battlers who are expats from Australia, put together a team, and they've made all the way to the
how good's that?
Round 4 of Halifax.
Well done, boys.
I think I played against Halifax in when we were looking at getting demoted for Catalans in 17. So Halifax are a strong championship team.
Yep.
So, all the best to the Hammersmith Hill Hoist.
What about the name?
Fucking tongue twister. But, good luck, lads. And if any Aussies are moving over London, looking for a team, that's your team. Go look them up on Instagram. All right, mate, let's get to some trials, specifically, let's kick off with the Bulldogs versus Storm. The one thing that was very noticeable for me, mate, right from the start, a lot of shift to shift and a lot of new players involved. You got a lot of the knock on the Bulldogs is they've got all these utilities. It looked like those guys who had come over, who played a lot of positions, really served them well with at least the shape you was running early on.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, like you got to play to your strengths, right? The middles, Max King was doing a job. I thought Sam Hughes was good.
I like Sam Hughes.
Faasuli was good.
Yep.
Like, he ran hard.
Faasuli
was good. The 15, he was like fucking running with some great league speed.
Yeah, Pauasa comes from the Dolphins, I believe. I think he was at the Titans and the Dolphins,
I like him.
He's just one of those guys you talked about before, mate. Like he just blows out. So he just got to be able to
maintain for 15 or 20.
He needs 25 in this day and age at high quality 25. But he's good. He looks like a player.
But the long shifts, right?
Yep.
I didn't mind him. You know, like you're gonna have a lot of options coming from that, right? You got to tip. There's leads to hit. You know, if someone wants to scream out of the line, so it makes your line prep. And you've got to be disciplined, right? If you want to come out and scream, try and shut it down, then you're going to hit the front guy. And if you want to your cues are wrong, if you're turning out, you're turning in, there could be a dummy on, there could be someone out the back. So it gives the players more options instead of just being tip, hit up, tip, out the back, very like your traditional sort of hits coming from a sideline where you can read quite easy. You know, they're coming like bang, bang, you got an inside, you got outside, you got something out the back. So it's up to the ball player, like Hutchison, to square up, and I thought he did really good. I thought they could have really nailed it. Eli Clark, I thought, had a great game. The young kid.
Yep.
You know, if they really nailed that right side. And the weather was awful too.
It was.
Absolutely awful weather to play in. Slippery, so then everyone just tried to like tuck it under. But so if it was a dry ball, I reckon we would have got a lot more joy on our right side.
I liked, we both agreed on the shape when we were texting each other. Me and you were the same. I think they needed to hit a few more leads though, because I think that's why Melbourne defended him so well. It looks nice, all that shape, but you just got to hit a few more leads to keep them honest.
And in the game, you know, you're going to have on the side, you're going to have Kiko on that left edge, who's going to be running those really good lines. He's going to make you keep straight, right?
Yes.
And then coming right, you're going to have Preston, who hits a pretty good line as well. So like, you just need to get, and they only he played 20 minutes, Presto, you know? I think 20.
Josh Curran looked good in the Indigenous game too.
Yep, he looked good. So he's going to be probably, him and Sam are going to be fighting that 13 spot out.
Yeah, I think it's Curran's. I thought Curran looked really good.
Yeah.
Looked fit.
And he looked pretty fit.
I think you can bring Salmon off the bench, but I can see Curran playing that role.
It'll be interesting to see what the team is this Friday.
Yep. Yeah, it will be. Bronson Sherry. Good
return.
He ended up going a lot longer than I expected. I thought there was going to be some rust. 65 of the best.
I think he wanted to stay out there the whole time. Yeah. He hasn't played for 4 years.
Fuck yeah.
You don't care how much training you're doing, how much left on right, it ain't the game.
Yep.
And I think it took him a little bit to get like right into that, probably about 15 minutes. And he's like, fuck, all right, let's go.
Yeah,
it was good. It was good because he did. It was just like, oh, does it feel good?
Yeah.
You know, like 4 years. Dude's been on the side for 4 years.
Yeah.
Think of that.
Get contact. All right, I feel all right.
Because you
tackle. I feel all right. No, let's fucking go.
All right, I'm back. You know what I mean? Like it just took him took about third or fourth hit up, and he goes, "Fuck, I just need to wind up and just cop that contact, get the leg speed." Then it started coming back to him.
Nice little meat.
Yeah, like nice soft hands. Like, I'm back.
He's back.
I'm back.
Yeah,
it was good for him. He fucked up. He paid the price. Now he's back. Let's just celebrate that. He paid 4 years on the sideline.
Yeah, 100%.
Everyone else just ease up.
Yeah,
you know?
I think everyone's
but like, you know, you see some fuckwits out there. Just shut up, man. That's why I don't even look at the comments. I'm like, shut the fuck up, you know.
All right, let's speak about some of these young guns, mate. I thought, in particular, Bailey Hayward looked very impressive.
Bailey Hayward, little Milky. I don't know why they call him Milky. I don't know.
He's got a bit of Chris Keating about him.
Yeah,
he's got a mix of Chris Keating and someone else's face, but I couldn't quite pinpoint it.
What a good kid. He's a really good, respectful kid.
Awesome. Love to hear that. The other two that looked pretty special and mind you, they're playing against Melbourne's Reggies and sort of Queensland Cuppers as well. Joseph O'Neill and Joash Papali'i. Joash. Fuck, he looks like.
Yeah, he's got
this is the thing
man.
with the Bulldogs. Like, I think a lot of Bulldogs fans would be more. Because I guess the biggest part of getting Gus involved with the club over the last couple of years is everyone's been utilities, fucking, you know, Gus did this, you know, brought through this younger core at the Panthers and you know, does he get all the credit because he left by the time they started to, you know, sort of go on that run. But I think a lot of Bulldogs fans are looking at these young kids, those three in particular, and going, okay, this is what Gus has been talking about. Like there's... Yeah, we're still keen for the season, but
it's a big 6 or 7 of them.
It looks like there's something coming.
Yeah.
It looks like there really is something coming.
That's why he said 5-year plan. This is the 3rd year into it. You know, so you can't be rushing, you know, like all these younger kids through because you need to cultivate them properly, get them like indoctrinated into the Bulldogs culture and the way that we want to play, what Ciro's trying to implement at the club and Gus, the culture that they're trying to build, right?
Yeah.
And hopefully they buy into it in the next year or two. And a couple of these kids get to play first grade this year or push for a spot.
See, that's what I think is
That's
important.
what I want.
Especially coming from you, Mace. I want, like, one thing I wanted to highlight talking about is I know Bulldogs fans are going to be excited about these kids, but they still are kids.
Yes.
They need some developing. In a perfect world, even if results aren't going well, don't force it like... You know, when the fans are screaming for Oloapu last year, like, get Cohen. He's, you know, a young kid on all this money. In a perfect world, you want to blood them maybe 2 to 3 games throughout the season, not together as well, and really let them develop this year and then, you know, potentially take the next step the year after because they're still 19, 20, all 3 of them.
Very young, still very young. Understand with COVID as well, that set these guys back a couple of years.
Yeah,
you know, if you weren't in that top 25, 30, what it was up in that bubble, what were you doing?
Some kids just weren't playing
absolutely
from
nothing.
16 to 17.
Yeah, and this is the product of that. Yeah, these kids now. So you got to give them a little bit of time.
All right. I thought Melbourne's culture, really, we talked about culture before on the YouTube question, just the way that they defended their line with all these fucking Queensland Cup players and no one of note, no like real young players that have been touted, I guess, at the club. I mean, shout out to Pappy. Yeah, shout out to Pappy. He got through 40 minutes, finished with the media as well. He obviously has a whole... He would have played a big part in how well they defended their line. I heard him talking about, they call it the cage. They've even got a nickname around it, which fucking got me fired up. I love hearing that shit. But they just had a whole bunch of young kids mixed in with Marion Seve and Dean Yeremia and guys that have played before in the past, but just the Melbourne culture just...
They held on for 60 minutes.
12-10 at half time.
Yeah, like, come on, let it go.
Had all that ball.
But that just shows that their culture and what it means to play for the Storm. They just don't stop. They don't stop. Yep. And good to see Pappy get through that game. He looked quick, man. He looked quick. When he was on that little kick from... who kicked that little ball? The Garlic?
No.
Pezzett.
Jonah Pezzett.
Pezzett, yeah.
He had an indifferent game too, because there's a lot of pressure on Jonah Pezzett in the sense, like, he's got a lot of raps on him. He's the New South Wales under-19s for a couple of years. He's that next in waiting behind Jerome and Cam, and it's like played in that trial, and it was shitty conditions, but you could see there's going to be expectations that are building now. He's played half a dozen NRL games.
He's not young anymore.
He's
21, 22?
I'd say he'd be 21, but you can see that there'll be internally, I think, pressure within himself just he wants to take that next step.
Because you're comparing himself to other halfbacks coming through the system as well.
Yeah. All right, mate. The Indigenous game was on Friday, the next night. The women's played. Indigenous got both games. The Indigenous women's won 26-4. Shout out to Kira Dibb, who won the Trisha Hina medal. She's, for Mace, I always try to give you player comps. She's like the Nico Hines of the NRLW, just a taller, sort of bigger body. Yeah. She nearly kicked a 30-10.
That one was massive.
Did you see the kick?
Yeah, it was silky.
It was so good.
Fullback just went, are you serious?
Yeah.
Why don't you go out?
She's got such a good kicking game, and I really wanted to highlight that because I think if you're not familiar with the women's game, I've been watching it closely for the last 5 years, and one of the things in particular that they're really getting a lot better at it, and it might seem super simple, is kicking games are getting so much better, and goal kicking.
She's dominant.
She is really good. So shout out to Kira, and a massive shout out. She just keeps scoring tries, keeps running through people. Jamie Chapman, you remember?
She's a beast.
You remember she scored 3 tries for the Titans?
Oh, she's the Titans centre
against Newcastle
in the grand final. Yeah.
Okay. She continues her good form. She takes it to the house a couple of occasions.
She's unstoppable when she gets early ball.
I think she's now taken the title as the best centre from Isabel Kelly in the game. So Isabel had that for a long time. I think Jamie Chapman is clearly the best outside back now in the NRLW. She just keeps killing it. As for the men, the Indigenous
Sorry. What about the weather? That was awful for a game, man. Especially the women's game. At the start there, I was expecting some good weather. I'm like, I forgot it was been awful up there lately.
Well, I thought the women in particular played. They controlled the ball better than the men, specifically early on, considering all those girls that they haven't started preseason training as well. Their comp starts a little bit later, so they actually haven't started preseason comp with
they went all right. I'm just saying,
NRLW.
It just didn't help with the drizzle on the ball and like the service, and I was like,
the Dre drizzler.
You just want to like just a dry system, right? That's it.
All right, let's get to the men though, mate. 22-14. My prediction for the Sharks to not make the 8.
Tell the people.
It looked like it doesn't look like it's completely in trouble, but my biggest concern is that next player outside of Nico Hines. I'm still not completely sold on Braden Trindle. Fuck, he was good. He was really good, mate. And if he can continue to play like that and combine with Nico like he did, because Nico's going to be more ball dominant, but come up with a couple of nice silky plays, then my prediction of them not making the 8 is done, because across the park, they're pretty solid.
I don't care about his attack. I worry about his defence, and he was on with defence.
He wanted it, eh?
He wanted it. He went in. He got a stinger too.
Yeah.
He come in, and he could easily just had a dip there, but he went in, tried to put a shot on. Come off second best. Hopefully he's all right. But I was more impressed with his intent in defence. I don't care because he's a natural attacker.
Yes.
Natural kicker. Fucking natural footballer. He's got everything. Just fucking get your defence down. and you'll be in the team every week, and you'll be more than just a normal first grader. He'll dominate the game.
Yeah, he's got the capability.
He's got the silky skills, man.
He's got a high ceiling.
Ceiling's massive for him, and if he can be that Nico, and then he's that dude, like he's an actual danger. He's a threat on that right or left edge, wherever he is, the left edge. Then you're fucking talking if you're Cronulla. But if you're a one-trick pony, you just stack the other side because Nico Hines there, and you don't really care about Trindle, then you're in trouble.
Yep, I agree.
So when you're so people at home, when you're in the middle of the field and it's a 5-5 split and Trindle's here and you got Nico on that side and you stack another person, that's so disrespectful.
The fullback sits on a half A.
Yep, and you just put it on that long side because you know it's going to Nico. That means you're in the wrong space, Cronulla fans.
And
but
if that game was anything to go by, you do that. Trindle looks like he's ready.
Trindle's going to take you on.
Yeah, I like it. I had a friend reach out. He's a big Shark supporter. Obviously, Trindle and Hines play really well in the Indigenous game. Yeah. They go up 12-0 on the trial, which we're about to talk about next, Knights versus Sharks. Gave me a little wager. I won't even say $250 are the best for the Sharks to make
responsibly,
of course. Responsibly. This is between mates.
It's lira. It's lira.
So we've got a little bet on me and a mate. So shout out to Arthur. I've got. I'm still going to stick with it. The Sharks not to make the 8, but now I've put my money where my mouth is. So we'll see how we go. Let's get back to the rest of the game though. Not only the Sharks. Jermaine Hopgood, outstanding. Fuck, he's got like he started this game the way he finished last year.
I bet they were spewing they had to let him go, but you got a kid called Isaiah Yeo.
He goes all right.
Yeah, he goes good. So you had to let him go. He's a dog. He gets after. He's that missing link that Parra you really need to get him over the hump.
He is, when we think about Parramatta, the one thing I've sort of been like, I feel like they've lacked at times is a dog to just do what he does. Don't stay in the system, shoot out from C, try to bang someone. Even if you miss, everyone else sort of just follow.
But he comes from a good angle. Most
of the time
he doesn't put anyone under pressure, right?
Yep.
You know, I was happy for Josh Kerr.
Yeah.
He's going to have a good year.
He thrives in these
Bennett,
games.
Man, 3 years ago, he was in the Queensland system.
Correct.
He was in that 21, and then he just fell off down to St George. I know that a lot of things in-house, all that kind of stuff. I had a chat with him. Him under Wayne, he'd probably find himself back in the Queensland jersey, I reckon.
Yeah.
This year, back in that squad.
Well, that's huge.
Because he's got all the tools to be a gun. He's big, strong, and fit.
He always plays well in this game, though.
Bro, I know.
Something about wearing that jersey.
I know, but like I think Wayne can get that out every week.
Yeah, okay.
If you get that out every week, then you get a high-level player. You get a Queensland representative. You get that little diamond, man.
He's 6'4".
Fuck, bro.
He can move.
He's got it all.
He's got it all. He just needs to put it together consistently.
He needs to be held accountable every single week, and that's what Wayne does. And felt like he's like cared about. You know, these young kids need some love, man.
Speaking of love and that same coach, I think is it time to just not? It's time. I think everyone has appreciated him. Hammer is legit a superstar.
Yeah, he's a superstar.
Like multiple positions, every level he plays.
Yeah,
he just continues to get better. Like I was watching that on the weekend going,
he ran out too.
when we talk about the conversation, he definitely ran out.
100%. No, I'm glad, I'm glad that they let it go.
Same.
It was entertainment.
Same.
Yes.
I watched it and I was
actually
like,
out.
Matt, that's fucking sick. That's what got me thinking.
Yeah.
Like when we talk about the conversation, we talked about fullbacks, right? A couple of weeks, Queensland and New South Wales. We talked about Walsh and Ponga, and we talked about Latrell, Turbo, Teddy, Dylan Edwards. I don't know, man. Like if I'm doing my rankings and I'm going with age, runs on the board, tread, what he's done at international level, what he's done at Origin. Remember what he did to Turbo in that one game a couple of years ago when Turbo, he shut him down, man. Like I fucking love Hammer. I think it'd be very hard to place him, I think, in the top fullbacks or even outside backs. I think he's a top.
He's an outside back, and you can play him anywhere.
If you're
Centre,
purely
wings,
picking
fullback.
outside backs in any position, like versatility, fuck, he might be.
He's
top
it.
five
He's
pick.
it. No, he's it.
Yeah, because you can play multiple positions
everywhere,
with him.
and he's like world class at every position.
He's world class.
Yeah, I did not think that he was that dude.
Either did I.
How good were those war dances, man?
Yeah, best.
Mahaka, that was sick.
Fuck, it gives me goosebumps when
Does
they now break off into their sort of three separate.
Sick, and they come out and they represent their. Yeah. How good was Gags on that Dane Gagai?
Yeah.
See the passion that he had?
Yeah.
I fucking love Gags.
Yeah.
So you went after it too.
People were asking questions about that, specifically on. I seen some questions on on Instagram pages, but also around on SEM. He's of Māori and Aboriginal descent, so he's
blessed.
You get to play for represent both teams, and it's at the end of the day, it is an exhibition game, and you don't have to,
draw your allegiance to
so early. I thought the Māori were good, but they just lacked that polish. I think a big miss was Jesse Arthur's a fullback. I think when they were attacking a lot, Jesse's become a really solid first grader and winger for the Broncos, but he missed a few opportunities with some nice tip-ons. Yeah, Indigenous,
he's a winger, man. He fucking runs hard.
Really scrambled well, but we just lacked that polish with an out-and-out fullback at the back to finish off a few plays. Middles were outstanding. Joseph Tapine and Leo Thompson.
It is not a trial game. You should just have to play this one game if you're in this game, and then straight into first grade.
Yeah.
If you're a vet, you don't. I'll play these all-star games before. We got pumped.
Yeah.
Pumped.
Did you play the first ever one?
Yeah, no. I think in the 2010s, I was like, the whole All-Star week is just getting on the piss. It was awful, and their prep is so serious, and it means so much, and that's why they flicked it to.
That's why it's so much better now
to the Maoris, right? To the Māoris, and we're because it didn't really mean that much to us. It was just to get together with a bunch of mates that you've known for the last 10 years. Yeah, and what are you going to do?
Yeah, it's like a glorified trial warm-up.
And then you just get out there and you get absolutely flogged. And playing at Suncorp was like 40,000, and they're it was like GI and Sammy Thaiday when they had the cream of the crop. Yeah. Absolutely
JT.
Flogged. I was like, this is fuck. It's like it was unlimited interchange because we weren't feeling that good. Yeah. And they come out at 100 and we're at 60. That's why they had to switch it. They had to switch gears because look at it now.
Yeah. Speaking of switching gears, a couple of guys I was obviously Joseph Tapine, he's been around for a minute.
He's the man.
He's very high in our rankings through the middle. Leo Thompson looks like he's about to take that next step. He played really well for the Kiwis at the end of the year. And Xavier Willison I thought was really good as well. I know
big.
I know we both like Willison.
Yeah. He just needs to find his feet. He's still a young pup, man.
He's still raw as fuck.
He's just, once he understands the game and it slows down a little bit, it might be when he's coming off the bench, it's just fucking everywhere, right? And he's in the middle and he thinks he has to do everything and dominate the game. Once it slows down to him in about 2 years, or maybe even quick, he's going to be a big problem.
He's a problem.
Big problem.
Yeah. They've got some good young fucking big boys.
Good leg speed. He looks like he fucking goes after it. He just needs his legs and his mind to
Yeah. He wants to smoke.
All together, right? And then once he does is when he's 22, something like that, he's going to be a problem for the NRL. Yeah. You think Big Nasty was a problem a couple of years ago? He's that, but fucking leaner.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. All right, mate. The Knights on the first game of Saturday pumped the Sharks 44-18. It was a slow start. Sharks started really well, actually, but definitely the difference was the spine for the Knights. O'Brien's got a bit of a decision to. It's always a good headache. We talk about iron sharpens iron all the time, but they got some genuine.
I like Cogger.
Contention. So do I.
I like Cogger. He's come back to Newcastle. He's a Newcastle junior, mind you.
Yes.
With a different swag. Totally different. Premiership winning, been in the system for about 2 years down in Penrith. Yeah. He's gone to Newcastle going, I'm going to fucking start in the halves. I'm not here to start on the bench or be your little third man in or anything like that. No. I'm coming for Gamble's or Hastings' spot.
Correct.
That's it.
So
you guys fit around me.
I think what's important is you're right. He was at Penrith. He signed at the back end of the season when the Knights were on the run. So when he signed, despite what even conversations he might have been having with O'Brien, in his mind, he's going, I'm leaving Penrith, a good system, where I'm potentially obviously going to be a backup behind Jerome for a bit. And he would have been going, I'm signing at the Knights because I can take one of those spots.
No, I'm a Newcastle junior too. And I love Newcastle. I'm 26 years old. I'm in my peak. I'm not coming here to play off a 14 spot for 3 years. He's there to start.
I thought Hastings was fucking really good. Hastings was really good in that game. The interesting part, though, is fucking Will Price come off the bench and he looks like a fucking tearaway as well. So that 14 jersey that potentially, what's his name? We were just talking about him. The fucking Cogger. Cogger or Gamble could potentially play 14. I think
Gamble could play 14 or 6. He could just come off and just be a dog. He can play 9. He can play everywhere, man. That's probably going to be his problem because he's not a genuine 6, right? He can play 4, he can play 14, come on anywhere in the back line and just be really disruptive.
He can even play
because his energy's mad.
Yeah,
and he's very beloved up there as well. They love him as a teammate. So, do you have Hastings and Cogger as your half? No, you don't.
So
I'd rather Cogger and Gamble.
That's interesting. You got to. I think you'd for sure there are going to be a lot of Knights fans that would have Hastings in there. It's a tough one, right? Because you know what makes it more tricky? I think it was pretty clear cut that you go Hastings and Cogger or Hastings and Gamble, but he's definitely thrown a spanner in the works because if you weren't to play either one of them, you could have played one of them on the 14, but then Will Price looks like he could be a real X factor in the 14.
And I get it if you're going to be loyal if you won the comp, right? You got to a certain part and you got pumped by the Warriors because of the disruption in the halves, right? Something was happening there. No one really, went after it. It's not like if they won the comp, you'd be like 7-6, lock, gamble. You just have to fit in Cogger.
Yeah.
But he's not coming there off a premiership win. Like they had a great run last year. They won 10 in a row, 11 in a row.
KP went on a fucking
great. It went on a great run, right?
Yep.
And then they just come unstuck. So that something's missing.
Did Hastings play in that game? He didn't know. No, Hastings didn't play in that game as well.
I'm saying in the halves, it just sort of fell apart.
Yeah.
The direction and everything like that. Cogger can maybe put that in.
Yeah.
With his experience winning a competition and playing well in the back end of the year.
We'll find out this week. I want to see what the team list is going to be this week. I'm really intrigued to see what the Knights are because, some good issues there. Even in the back row, Dylan Lucas is really good and Jed Cartwright was good on the right.
Lucas is good.
So I think those two will be generally
They'll be good. They'll be good this year.
Yeah. The Knights?
Yeah, they just need to figure out that problem really quick, like round 1.
Yes.
Not wait till round 6 and be 3-3 and then or be back and they go
swapping and changing.
You can't do that. He needs to go, okay, what fits well for this club? What do we look like in 2 years or whatever? Like in the halves, because they need to make a decision in the halves, don't they?
As in
moving 7 and 6, like they got like Gamble and Hastings. Gamble, Hastings and Cogger, one of them has got to go.
Yes. And what they don't want to do is start slow like they did with KP playing 6 last year and before they figured it out because they come home so strong. Yeah. They want to keep that momentum and they want to have that locked in nice and early. Yeah. And whoever it isn't, then they've just got to be a good fucking clubman and be ready if their number does get called. Yeah. I thought Big Tom Hazelton was good for Cronulla. A couple of young kids played well as well, but nice little tip on that led to that try down the right edge. If he adds that to his bag, that's a new little...
It's good little overs, wasn't it?
Yeah, nice little overs, nice little tip on. So apart from that, Sharks got pretty much dominated in the second half. So
it's a sloppy game the first 20. He put me off rugby league forever. There was about 15 errors, like just so fundamental. I was just mentioning, what is wrong with it? I know, I get it's hot, right? And it was awful, but like it's not like you've never played in that position before when it's hot and muggy.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck. And there just wasn't just the job, it was just the fundamental jobs, right? Your coach is just like, what are you doing? Like, you fucking catch that. You've been doing that all preseason for your whole career.
We were texting each other and you're like this isn't good enough. You first graders.
If that was a trial game for like Coogee Dolphins or something like that, not NRL level.
This is NRL standard. Yeah. All right, mate. The next game was the Roosters, same venue against the Seagulls. Seagulls put up a real good fight considering Roosters had a really strong 21-man squad. My concern with the Roosters again, we always talk about iron sharpens iron. There's a part of me that thinks this could be a problem with the Roosters because I think they've got too much iron, too much established iron, or players of potential iron that are going to make things confusing. Because I looked at that team was way too good to be down against Manly early on, and then also, just before half time. And it looked like the Seagulls were more cohesive with a younger team, and Roosters were still trying to figure out how not to get in each other's way. That was it's only trials and it's the first game, but I'm really high on the Roosters this year. And I was watching that going, they need to figure that out straight away.
Yeah. I think what I was happy with, the only bonus I brought out of that is Teddy looks like he fucking went after it. He played 70 minutes.
Not Freddie. Teddy's keen.
Oh, he's pissed off. You get that out of Teddy every week. That's massive. Yeah. He led from the front, man, the whole way. And I get it, man. There's a lot of combinations that need to be worked out. They got like Wong coming off the bench with Crichton. Those combinations on that left edge with Walker and the out ball with Crichton. Like maybe just switch it up a little bit. Run different lines, right? That out ball is very easy to defend. Yep. Especially if you've got Crichton on the left edge who's a right arm carry and you keep going with an out ball. There's no offload or anything like that. You're just going to stick it in there and the defender hits you right on the ball.
The difference with Crichton in the past, he starts the game, he punches that hole really hard 2 or 3 times and then he hits it on the
and when if he had it straightened up,
because he come from playing in the middle, he just tried to force it too early.
You know, and just that's ball playing as well. Like if Sam Walker and just straightened up a little bit and they both broke off their rights and then bang, a bit of an undersplay because he had him guessing.
He's got it in the bag.
Yeah, he has. Yeah. It's just the timing and everything like that. But you know, they need to know. That's what trials are for. You try the little out balls and then like maybe once or twice and then get him going out because he had him going out. And then you just break off your left, straighten back up. He would have got them both if Sam Walker straightened up.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So that's where it's going to be tricky. They're trying to figure out the positions again. They're not going to have another trial before round 0. They're playing the first game against the Broncos over there, so it's going to be a big test. The Roosters can't afford to start slow.
And with that line, like you know the out ball and the line, like if you're not a genuine left arm carrier who can get that right palm out, it's a fucking easy tackle for you.
Yes.
You know I'm going out. You just keep your body in front. I catch the ball and I'm not even swapping hands or anything like that. And you're just hitting the ball.
And it's even harder to like get an offload as well.
Yes, because if you're a right arm carry on the right side and I'm getting an out ball, this is coming out. Right, it's either there or there.
Yeah,
you know, like you got to put him in the right hand. And Crichton runs great lines. I'm not saying he's not a left side back row, but he can play both.
Manu come off the bench. Are you any clearer with who the back five is? So just for context, Billy Smith started left centre, Swart-Lee started right centre, and when Joseph Manu come in before Dom Young got injured, Swart-Lee was the one to be moved. So if I'm trying to predict who's going to miss out, for me it looks like Swart-Lee.
Yeah, that's what it looked like because Billy Smith went after it as well. I love the fact that they knew like they would have been like all cool before the game. Shit, good luck, and I'm fucking going after this. Yeah. Every run's my last run because I want to be in Vegas and I want to be here round 1. Yeah, because we have a genuine shot this year if everyone's on. And
that's if Dom
prayers
Young
go out to Dom Young. Hope you're all right, mate.
I think it was just precautionary.
It's precautionary.
I think
because that was the crusher with
Sipley.
He's going to miss round 1?
Oh, he's going to miss round 1? Okay, Lukey's just
Fuck,
updated.
I didn't think there was anything in that. Like, where's Sipley supposed to go? Is he supposed to disappear?
Yeah, it's a tough one.
It's a fucking
especially
tough
for
one,
big
man.
Bodies, especially for guys that
and
push
he
back
did
and
not.
grind.
He didn't have his head under and crush him on purpose. He was just there, and Dom Young's twisting around, and it's like, where's he supposed to go?
I agree with the rule because you've got to have player safety, and of course he's missing. But it is really tough for people that are watching. Sometimes for big guys to move the bodies when you're trying to control the ruck on those big guys. Dom Young has made a career of the last couple of years of finding his front, quick play the balls, getting the team on the front foot. So you got to try to control.
Explain to everyone at home, right? Like you're trying to stay tight, trying to stay as tight as you can to Dom Young the whole way to the ground. Lost a little bit of separation, and then if you lose the separation, Dom Young flips around, finds his front, you lose the tackle, right? And that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to stay tight, but like he didn't know that Dom Young was going to be in that position.
No,
and I feel sorry for Sips. It's happened so quickly, and I feel sorry for Sips because he trained that way, but you don't mean for anything like that to happen.
Yeah, there's a good chance he misses then round 1 as well.
Yeah,
he got 4 weeks, Lukey. Far out. Hey, you're on fire today, Luke. You're getting this shit fucking pumping.
Yeah, I just feel sorry for it because it
must be that extra BSC you've been pumping.
No intent with it, right? I'm like, fuck, where is he supposed to just disappear or lose the tackle? 4 weeks, that's quite like just say if he plays reserve grade all year gets injured. Touch wood, it doesn't happen. Fucks his season up, man.
Yeah, I know.
I know. The rules are rules, and I'm all for player safety and stuff. But like, he can't just disappear. He's a fucking big man.
I was speaking to Sips the other day at the RLPA event that I was at, and he was so keen for Vegas. And he'd been training that because he did his pec, and he trained so hard to get back in time with his pec, and now he's going to miss 4 games.
Captain as well. I get it if you're careless, you know, all those sort of plays, but not when you're like he was just trying to do the right thing.
Speaking of Vegas, Schuster was ruled out before the game. Seabold said he's going to play in the trial next week against the Broncos, which will be predominantly Queensland Cup players, because both teams are taking both of the starting lineups, or the majority of the squad are travelling to Vegas a couple of days before that trial. Bad time for Schuster to start off with.
Yeah, well, he needs to get that calf right, man. That could derail his the whole season. So, like, even if he misses Vegas, tries to push for round 1, I'd be probably leaning towards that more. I just don't think I wouldn't risk it. I just wouldn't risk him. He's too talented, and a calf injury could fuck his season up.
Flying back and forth from Vegas is not going to serve well.
It's a big thing. Like if he doesn't get through that game and play the way that you want him to play, regardless of the level up there, if it's Q Cup or not, they're still going to go after him. Yeah, you know, I want to see him get through 70, 80 minutes, some ball playing, some like getting into the defense line, driving through it. You know, because otherwise you go out there with a dinner suit.
Ideally, he'd love to be playing Vegas. I think this is one for Shuey where, all right, have a good hit out next week in the trial. The boys play round 0. Benny Travojevic and that's been going all right on that left edge. Get ready for round 2 because then you have a bigger break as well. Manly scored the try of the year already. Do trials count for tries?
Yeah, which one was that?
The one where they did the flick pass out the back.
Oh yeah, nice.
I'm only kidding.
Of course it should.
Do trials count? Like when you're in the playing group and one of the boys
does it count? Only Ogre would count. He counts training tries.
All right, mate. The Raiders beat the Eels 38-16. Some really exciting talent coming through at Canberra. I thought there was young talent on both sides, but a couple of more experienced players look really good. I thought James Schiller was really good, and he's looks like
aggressive. They look big. Canberra always look big. So did Parramatta look good.
Typical.
Ofahiki Ogden looked really good.
Yep.
Always surprises me how, like, just say, like, Widemu Greg, right? He looks like, I think he's primed to have a big year, and then he gets put on the bench for, like, a trial game. Does that mean that the 8 and Ogden are ahead of him?
Not necessarily. I don't think so.
On the depth chart?
I don't think so. No, I think, and I've got no idea. I'm just like, I wouldn't put, like, if you think of it, Joey Manu was in the 18 jersey for the Roosters.
Joey Manu, but.
That's true. That is true. I've looked at some other teams. Gold Coast actually had their like Cleese Haas, Isaac Fasul Malaawi on the bench.
They might
but
start this week, right?
But they would probably be fighting for a bench spot regardless. So maybe maybe keeping Widemu Greb on the bench because that's the role he's going to play once the season starts.
Yeah, are they thinking that deep?
Maybe.
Coaches, yeah.
Because I reckon Widemu Greg's part of their best 17.
Yeah. That's what I think.
Yeah.
But that'd be the only thing that makes sense. It's like, why wouldn't you just start him? Like, because he could potentially start, but you got your starters in Reg.
Get some big men.
There's no way, like, even if he played man of the match games for every trial, you're still starting Junior and Reg, aren't you?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it makes sense.
I thought Pasami Solo was really good. Solo.
Yeah, the mullet is good.
Yeah, it's
solid.
It's a throwback. It's Brad Mackay.
Brad Mackay. I mean, Ren and I were watching the footy, come over for dinner on the Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's he schools Brad Mackay.
Yeah,
Brad Mackay had a beautiful mullet.
It's almost like in between Brad Mackay and Dylan Watanez-Lesniak.
Yeah, he's coming after the throne. Yeah. Whatever, it's curly. He's got some real bounce in there.
Yeah,
Thick
he wants that head and shoulders
sponsorship.
That's for sure. That's a Mariota. He's a player of real potential. The young kids were okay. I thought KO Weeks was pretty good. Ethan Strange. And Ethan Sanders, the two young halves, had their moments, but they looked a little bit scratchy. But yeah, really loved Kalma Tuolangi. Thought Morgan Harper was pretty good. Morgan Harper looks better with the cut too.
I didn't know it was him.
Yeah, he looks more business.
Mad flick. Like I was like,
that was
silky. Kid Morgan Harper. I said, oh, that's good on him.
Yeah.
I was happy for him because everyone thought his career was done after Talakai got him.
Yeah.
I'm like, he looks good. He looks good.
Brad will be good for a guy like him.
That's what he looks like before the Talakai game.
Yeah.
That's what he was looking like for a couple of years.
He
was looking good.
He was ascending, wasn't he?
Yes. Now he's back.
He had a few good games at Manly, but people, like specifically the Manly fans, couldn't get over that one performance. So every time he played and made an error, they'd just be like, fuck, like it was just ingrained in people. So I think a change will be good for him.
Yep.
I thought Noel Martin he's the guy that come off the bench with the mullet for the Raiders.
Yeah,
he's
got a lot of mullets, man.
Mate, he's that fucking Raiders. You might not have watched the back end of the game, but he's just a typical Raiders Ricky Stewart dog coming off the bench.
So I watched about 60, 70 minutes, like third quarter, like of most games. I was like, oh fuck, it's killing me. Especially Super Saturday. By this time on Super Saturday, I was.
All right, well, let's finish off the last game, and that's it, and then we'll get to the Sunday games on Thursday as well. The Rabbitohs defeat the Dragons 28-6. The scoreline blew out. Dragons were pretty good to begin with. My problem that I can envision now with the moves of Jack Bird going to the right with Zach Lomax, when they had all that ball and they were trying to attack nice and early, they just kept on trying to feed them. So this might be the problem. Like Flano's obviously had a conversation with Lomax and Bird. I'm going to move you to the centres. I'm going to move fucking Lowy on the outside of you.
Yep.
Now they could be trying to force it. Where you still got to stay balanced. You know what I mean? Like Flano might have had the conversation like, hey, we're going to play you on the wing, but we're going to get you heaps of ball. And, anytime we get, anywhere near the red zone, we're going to put a kick up to you because he's really good in the air too, Lowy. But I felt like they forced us a little bit too much. And then when it didn't go their way and they couldn't score any points, they looked a little bit frustrated. Yeah. You could see some of the players already were in the here we fucking go sort of. But it wasn't until half time that Rabbitohs got some points and then they really kicked on in the second half.
Defensively, they were on. They all can. That's what I said. 40, 50 minutes of these trials, all you need to watch to see what they're going to be like during the year. Flanagan and Hunt need to work it out.
Yep, for sure.
Hunt needs to dominate everything.
Well, he said after the game in an interview that he's going to give leeway and give Flanagan more opportunity so he can play off the cuff a little bit more. Do you like that, or would you rather go?
I just want Hunt to play like Ben Hunt.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need him to change his game at all.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I don't think so. Like, he's played 300 games. Whoever comes in is Flanagan. You make sure you make all the right moves to make sure you fit.
Yep, I agree.
You know what I mean? Like just simple it down, Flanagan. Just cross your back rolls, hit early ball to Bird, all that kind of stuff. Let him attack. Bird's not that sort of dude who's going to shake you out on that right side. No, he's going to run really good lines, man. So if Flanagan get to the lines, square up with his back rower, with a fullback out the back, with Bird there, then you have some really good shape.
Get Sloan some ball earlier because he's probably the better ball player out of even, well, maybe not Hunty, but out of the three, he can make that nice little cutout pass too.
And even if it's just, say, in the middle of the field, wide ball to just say Ben Hunt, lead, someone out the back, someone out the back. You know what I mean? Like Sloan needs to get the ball, so he's playing that 3-on-2 with Bird and Zach.
Yeah.
And fucking Birdie's just banging outside in lines.
The more Sloan gets it, squares up, play short to Birdie running that nice tough line, then go that Lomax. But I felt like they wanted to go to Lomax.
Fucking you got to hit, exactly. You got to hit Bird because Bird's tough, man. He loves those lines there. And just hit him a couple of times. You got to play chess, not checkers. Bang, bang. You might get it about 5 or 6 times down there. You want to get that many opportunities. So when you do get them, make sure you play the right one.
See, that's another part of trials too that players don't forget sometimes when they start trials is because they only get 50, 60 minutes, they want to get their fucking play that they love. And you get to build into that in a normal game. But because if you know you're only going to play 40 minutes, you go, oh, I need to force this. I need to get to that play that I really like. That's my bread and butter.
All I know, if I'm that left side defensive south and you see Flanagan coming towards you and you can see the play coming on, you just come up. If he doesn't engage you as a defender, you just come up and fucking slide. So then Birdie's getting 2 people on him. He's getting cast to catch the ball in traffic, Sloan out the back. Everyone just comes through the line. You're not doing anything if you're not squaring anything up.
Yep. I thought Jai Gray was pretty impressive. Little tearaway that come off the bench for South once they started going a roll, but their middles.
Jacob Gagai.
Yeah, Jacob Gagai.
Fucking Gags, man. I remember playing in Newcastle. He was a baby.
Yeah.
He was like 14 when I was up there.
Yeah.
Now he's a young man. I messaged him last week, man. Yesterday. I said, fucking good on you, kid.
Yeah.
He was always in Gags' like shows. He was a little brother. Didn't really think that much of him. I didn't know that he was that good a player.
Yeah. He carved up last year for New South Wales Cup.
But he kept on playing. I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
He's got something here. He must have been in the lab this preseason. Fucking faster, stronger, more intent.
He was
ran the ball proper, man.
He was playing golf with Troll that time. I said I seen him a couple of weeks.
Good kid, man.
Troll, I told you how fit Troll looked, and he looked fit in the Indigenous game.
He might have to slide in there somewhere, Gags.
Well, no Jack Whiten, no Campbell Graham, and no Tyrone Munro for the first game against Manly in round 0. Yeah, so there's an opportunity for him. So
there's an opportunity for him to go, come on, I need this spot. Got to fit me in somewhere.
Yep.
That's what it looks like. Looks like it's happening.
Another big performance that I thought he was really good in his debut was Sean Kepi through the middle. Kepi's got through a shitload of work.
Are they the answer you starting props for South?
No, I think potentially Kepi could start because they like Tommy Burgess off the bench. So you get Tavita Totola.
He come out with some intent.
And Kepi in the front row with my bad.
The intent was good.
Yep.
From both sides. I watched till half time, 50 minutes. I'm like, okay, I thought St. George showed enough promise to go, okay, we're not going to be like bottom feeders this year. They're going to battle every game.
Yeah,
they're going to battle.
I'm still slightly concerned about them. I think
they're a tough team, man.
I think the trouble now with the Dragons and what I alluded to, once they sort of started to struggle and didn't score any points, and it's been sort of roughly the same roster now for a couple of years, and they haven't had too many changes like your Bulldogs. Because when you get new players, there's new hope, and there's more like, don't worry, we can get through this. Once you've been that team like the Dragons have been for like 3 years, you start going, fuck, here we go again.
That's what's going to happen a lot, but they're still going to be tough.
Yeah, and that will look Flano teams. There'll be a different style, and he'll have them up for most games.
Does Sully look fit?
Yeah.
He look like some of their players. I just look at like how fit they look right now. It's the fittest they're going to look all year.
Yeah, for sure.
And if you can get Sully like that right now, like he's going to be dangerous, man.
He just re-signed as well. So, Flano, he must be loving what he's
ceiling
saying.
is
to
here.
move Lomax from to the wing and keep Moses Sully in the centres says a lot about what Moses Sully has done in the off-season. All right, mate, we'll get to our preview on the games, the new trials. Really excited to see what the teams are like tomorrow. And I will touch on the other 3 games that we missed Sunday. I'm going to re-watch that over the next couple of days.
Yeah.
See you Thursday.
All right.